So now that we know who our speakers are, we can kickstart off this session since it's all about serving. Maybe you guys can share with us, when did you start serving and what areas have you served in? Over to Andrew first.
Yeah, I guess I'll go first. I think I have started serving before some of you guys were even born. Yeah, that's how old I am. 2003, I was 13 years old in Sunday school, and I started actually playing the piano. It was a wooden piano I don't know if you guys remember, in Damansara Heights, our church. It was upstairs, and this wooden old piano, which probably doesn't look like a piano anymore. And also 3 years after that, I kind of took on a new role for becoming an assistant life group leader under my youth. Back then, we called ourselves Christ Ambassadors. And yes, it was under two of very inspirational individuals who were who played a part in my growth. Their names are Mabel and Sikan. You probably do not know them. But now, currently, I'm coordinating CYF. I'm also Bukit Jalil Life Group Leader. Woohoo! BJLG fan, where are you? And also part of the Music and Creative Arts Ministry on keys and worship leading.
Awesome. Shall we pass it on to the mathematician next?
Yeah, so compared to Andrew and Vic, I didn't have much experience serving, but I guess 4 years would be considered okay lah, right? Not even 4 years actually, probably less, I think. Yeah, so I started off as a keyboardist in CW. And then I think until before the MCO was implemented, I've been serving there. And since 2021, I believe, I served in the teens ministry for a couple of months. And currently, sorry, not since 2021, since 2020. Yeah, I've been serving at teens for a couple of months. And currently, since 2021, I've been serving as a CYF youth leader and in the hospitality department as a server as well. So yeah, not much experience, but okay lah, I can say. Yeah.
Nice. And in the future, Matt's ministry?
maybe Matt's tuition, those ones I can help.
Yeah, we're definitely in need of like tutor, like youth ministry, right? Tutoring makes sense. Okay, right. So I'll go next, right?
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, so I served in 2005 when I was in Calvary Kids, or we call it CW at that time. And I started out being a kids worship leader, but leading kids older than me, which was very, very scary. It was so funny. I was 10 years old, I was leading kids 12 years old. And of course, later on, youth ministry when I was 17, as the assistant leader under two of my female leaders, Lisha and Sarah. And but now I serve as an LG leader for Cheras Youth Life Group, where my Cheras fan at, and also the People Ministry in Calvary Youth and Young Adult. And of course, music ministry also came around that time when I was in high school, college, as second keyboardist, and of course in the last 3 years, worship leading main sanctuary. So yay! Woohoo!
Wow! So we have two experienced people, one uncle, one auntie, and one freshie. Right? All right. Okay. So, hey, by the way, you know that piano, that wooden piano, cannot hear one when you play. Cannot hear. Absolutely cannot hear. But Andrew used to play it, and like I remember he destroyed some keys. But anyway, okay, we're gonna move on a bit, right? Today's session is called The Beginning. So we're gonna go right to the starting point. All right. So I'm gonna shoot this at Andrew and Ian now, okay? One freshie, one uncle. And I'm gonna ask them what or who was instrumental in getting you to serve, right? Okay, let's break this down a bit. What did they say and how did they encourage you? Like, did they like strangle you and like serve now, or like, yeah, we want to know that. Go, Andrew. Yeah.
Yeah, they certainly did not offer me any bananas. But I remember teacher Cynthia when I was 12, I think 13 years old. I don't think some of you know her anymore. She was my CW teacher. So any of you may be approached by the CW teachers here. A CW teacher approached me and she asked me whether I want to play the keys for CW worship. And, being 12 or 13 years old, I guess some of you guys can relate. You'll definitely be like nervous, right? Like, yeah, why me? Why do I want to play a piano that cannot be heard? But anyway, yeah. I think times now are a little different from last time because that was the only thing that existed in my head, whether I was fit for it or I was nervous and I maybe couldn't do it. But today it's a bit different because now today we have so much going on. Like I have tuition, I have this, I have that. How am I going to schedule my time? How am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? I got no time at all. So to say yes, to come to the point of saying yes, there's so much things to think about compared to back then in the day. No phones, no gadgets. Only thing I have to ask are my parents. If they say yes, I on. If I say no, they yeah, whatsoever. And honestly speaking, at the time, I didn't even ask myself whether I was spiritually fit. Like I did ask myself, like, do I need to be of a certain relationship with God or a certain level 99 in order to be able to serve? And yeah, I didn't think of those things. In fact, I only thought, well, okay lah, serving as a person on keys pretty cool. Maybe can meet more friends, get girl, maybe be part of the cool gang. But it wasn't too much later lah, as I started to serve in a deeper sense that I started to grow in my faith and in my spiritual journey.
Right. Yeah, from my side, actually, I started off playing the keys when I was like really young. Not really young. Yeah, okay, really young. Since I was about Form 4. Yeah. And during that time, actually, it was a bit expensive to tuition fees for piano lessons were a bit expensive and all. But yet my mom actually still spent the money and sent me for tuition classes. And all I had was like something like the honky tonk piano. It's like really old one. It was a wooden one. And some of the keys were like not so playable, but yet I played on that piano, and yeah, I learned to enjoy playing piano, and it was so fascinating to see like when you press a button, dong, one sound appears. So yeah, that passion just came naturally over time, and yeah, and so and when I was in my secondary school as well, I had seniors who were dedicated to teaching me how to play chords and how to serve in church, especially, yeah, as a musician. And so the dedication of these people actually pushed me to start serving in the music ministry. Yeah.
Wow, that's really nice. That kind of is a good flow into my next question, because I actually wanted to ask what actually made you guys say yes to serving. Because I think many of us, like when we get approached, right, by our leaders to start serving, there's like two responses we have. Like some of us like, whoa, wait, like why are you asking me? Like, I'm not sure, I need time to think about it, I need to pray about it. Why not like that guy, right? Because like that was me when I was approached. But there's also like the other response where we have some people like they are super on about it. Once they ask, they're like, oh yeah, this is a great opportunity, and they just jump at it. So like, what about you guys? Like, how did you guys respond? Like, were you guys hesitant? Do you give any excuses? How was that like for you?
Yeah, we'll start with Ian. Freshie.
Oh, yeah. Well, I remember the time during I think it was quite some time back. I honestly forgot the date. Mike and Andrew approached me to actually serve as one of the CYF helpers, and and I was positioned in the hospitality department. And initially, my first thought was, oh man, I'm not suited for hospitality because I'm like introvert. I don't know half of the people in CYF, and I'm not that type of person who would see someone new and just talk to the person. But then actually Vic came and assured me that I actually could serve in the hospitality department, and it was not as difficult as I thought it was. And over time, actually, I felt more confident, and I actually enjoyed serving in the hospitality department. and it was something that I look forward to actually each time in CYF. As for in the music ministry, actually, yeah, knowing my background and how I started off playing piano, actually, it was only right lah to actually say yes when teacher Bipeng actually asked if I could serve in CW as a pianist. And so yeah, and many other things happened, such as the interest group and my seniors teaching me how to play, and all this added up to be the person I am today lah. Yeah.
Wow. That's so good to hear.
Yeah, I guess for me, when you asked, were we ever ready, or like, what made us say yes, and were we ever hesitant, right? Oh yeah, I was hesitant to say yes, Chelsea. Like, my excuse was, there are people better than me, right? There are better singers, there are better speakers, maybe people even more experienced, right? Then like, why me? And I remember teacher Sue, so the first time when I was in Calvary Kids, right? She almost coerced me to say yes to worship lead and to try it out in CW, and I was very nervous, even though actually at that time, Cheras, Calvary Kids only had 30 kids, Now, Calvary Kids have like 100 over kids, right? Even 30 kids, I was like, let's not even, But I believe that as we open up ourselves to be used by God in the small things, right? Like even if it's 30 people, 10 people, 2 people, right? As we say yes to the small things, God will trust us more with the bigger things, And fast forward in like the next 3 years, when I was in secondary school, I felt like God gradually felt like, okay, you did well in the small things. Let us progress to maybe the bigger things, right? And my youth leader at that time, Sarah Liu, she approached me to help her just be an assistant leader, and I took the role very seriously, right? And we had Cheras Ampang youth group at that time. I was really happy. I was really thrilled that she called me and she said,
Don't hang up.
Come. Yeah. And then I knew that the commitment would definitely grow and I had more responsibilities to take on. But the thought of being involved in something bigger, right, to serve, to give, felt right and felt rewarding. And I feel like as we grow and mature, we don't stop short at just receiving. When we come to youth group, I felt like for the longest time, I just came to youth group and like, okay, let's see what my youth leaders can say today, But I felt like I reached a point where I was like, how can I give back? How is it that I can contribute, the God-given talents, right, to grow the kingdom of God? And I think we feel a sense of fulfillment when we give of ourselves, our time, our talents, and God rewards us accordingly that way. And as long as we open up ourselves to say yes. So that was kind of my journey almost. It wasn't always easy to say yes. Yeah. So.
Wow, thanks for sharing. It's amazing. Guys, sometimes, right, leaders can see something in you that you can't see in yourself. Yeah. So listen to your leaders. Listen to your leaders. Okay, we're going to just go into like a more deeper reflective mode. Talk about some maybe not so good stuff. But why don't you guys? Okay, I'm gonna because Andrew is like the most like experienced here, right? He's even older than me, by the way. So I'm gonna get him to share, right, some of the major challenges he faced while serving and how he overcame them. Yes, Banana Boy.
Thanks, Mike. I think I will divide this into 2 portions, okay? My younger self and my current self, because I think a lot of you might think like, oh, yeah, 13, 14 years old, I cannot relate. But I'm just going to tell you, when I was my younger self, some of the biggest challenges when I served was actually, honestly, it was very largely dependent on what my parents allowed me to do. And, more than I was concerned about being distracted by my priorities, they were more concerned than I was, in fact. But I guess that over time, the most important thing to do is to always remember that as long as you play your part as a student, as long as you continue not neglecting your studies, showing that you can prioritize your time well, proving yourselves to your parents, not only just in performing well in your exam results, but also how you carry yourself at home, like doing your house chores, helping them out, being respectful children, do not be rude, your character and things like that. And as long as you're serving in church and they observe those changes about you and they see that those are great changes, I'm sure they will have no problems allowing you to serve. Okay, that is my younger self. And my older self, well, now as a more an older individual and a working individual, I definitely have more responsibilities. And I think some of you guys are starting to hit that phase in life whereby you feel like, okay, I no longer have carefree days anymore. Things are getting real. Adulting is real. There's a lot of stuff on my plate right now. And, you have the freedom to really choose how much you want to invest, unlike your younger self, where you have tuition, you have no choice but to go kind of thing. But now you have more freedom to invest on the things you want to invest in. And like this quote that says, with great power comes great responsibility, I think the reverse works as well, whereby with great responsibility comes great power, because you get to decide so much in your life. And honestly, I think we need to really focus and have that time management that is of value to you, because you need to really, really understand how you want to divide your time throughout the day. Pick your battles, you do not have to crowd your day with so much things, because until today, I can say there are days where I feel a little bit more suffocated, but there are days whereby I feel like, okay, I'm a little more free. But most importantly, you give yourself some room to breathe and incorporate the serving aspect into it, Serving shouldn't be just constrained to Sundays. A lot of us think that, okay, if I work or serve in school from Mondays to Fridays and then my weekend is gone, then Sundays serving in church as well. Well, serving is not limited to Sunday, guys. Don't just get that as part of that kind of mindset, because Sundays, yes, it's an avenue to serve. But at the end of the day, the big question is this. Ultimately, where is our focus in serving? Who are we serving? Okay, and it's not about whether I can serve or I have the time to serve, but more so with the things I already have, how can I still serve on a daily basis? I think to me that's key. Not so much can or not, but really try to marry your lifestyle with serving and make it as part and parcel of how you live your lives. And yeah, with all the things I mentioned just now as well, it should help you out in deciding how to manage those things.
Yeah, I really like what Andrew said about, serving is about using what you have, right? And just like working on that. And I think Vic also mentioned that you don't have to start big, you can start small. And over time, as God sees, you're doing well in the small things, then slowly He will trust you with bigger things. I think these are all really, really great advice here on serving. And thanks, Andrew, for also sharing some of the challenges, because we're going to be very real here. Serving is not just going to be a walk in the park, right? There are challenges. Maybe it's your parents. Maybe it's even managing your stress, right? Because of studies, assignments, and you need to manage your time. And these are all very real. But we also want to talk about how, aside from challenges, serving also has a lot of wonderful moments, right? And these are the things that also encourage us along the way. So if you guys can also share with us, what is some of these moments, your best memories of serving? I can pass it to Vic first.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many good memories over the years. It's so hard to choose one, Sometimes it's just as simple as hanging out in a mama after serving, just having teh tarik together with the people that you serve. But I think one of the more memorable moments is probably youth camp. We used to have youth camp in the end of the year, and I finally had this role of camp security team. We call it CST, and we could check on naughty youth during camps. And I found it so funny because how the roles have changed. Because I used to be the naughty kid, guys. Like hands down, I admit my room got blacklisted one of the years because we stayed up super late, and our youth leader had to I blacklist your room. You're too naughty already. And then when roles changed, when I started serving and then checking up on naughty youth, I found it so funny that it went full circle, and how we gave morning calls and make sure everyone woke up for the morning devotion session. So I really enjoy a lot of things, sometimes being able to serve and also having the experience of just hanging out with the people that you serve. So probably that's for me, Chelsea.
That's so nostalgic. Yeah, like what Lydia said, really missing youth camp now. And hopefully we get to do it after COVID.
Yeah, true. And as for me also, I have one best memory of serving. It was when I was serving with the teens as a games coordinator. Yeah, and it was just a couple of months, but I really had a lot of fun. The teens were really a bit naughty as well, but really engaging. And during that time, I remember it was games month. So every Sunday of that month, we played games, and it was team battlegrounds. And so our games were centered around that team. And there were many people that came in and stepped in to help out during that games month. And to see people help out and the teens having fun during that time was actually something that was really satisfying and really enjoying. I'm pretty sure some of you guys here may remember. I think some of you were here during the teens games.
Hi,
Yeah.
guys.
So yeah, and it really made me happy at the end of it all. So
Yeah, I remember that. That was really fun. We had a big team, so it was
Yeah.
nice.
Okay, we're gonna move on a bit, right? By the way, I was the one that blacklisted Vic's room. Anyway, okay, I'm just gonna throw this out to the floor very quickly. Any of you can answer this. Are there distractions in serving? You know, like, are there, actually all three of you except Vic, right? But Ian and Andrew, I know play Mobile Legends quite often. and I'm just being real, right? Our leaders are real people that have hobbies and stuff. So I'm sure you all have hobbies and distractions and stuff. How do you have fun, and still find time to serve and so on? Yeah, I know you all didn't really prepare for this, but yeah, anyone, just one answer.
I think I go first lah. Like I said, I think incorporating serving into part and parcel of what we do every day is really important. So, and like I mentioned earlier, I think it's important to find room to breathe. So as you actually, everyone has more freedom to decide what they want to do with 24 hours than they think they have. We think we are so tied down with a lot of things, but honestly, it's down to really, if you check yourself and your schedule, I think you will be able to find the room to enjoy what you enjoy. But the danger with doing that is obviously overindulging. I think sometimes we tak boleh control. That's why we find ourselves like, okay, spending an hour or two on it, and then then we realize that other stuff has to be pushed back. I think that's the danger. Having all these pleasures are not wrong. Like what Mike said, it keeps us there, it keeps us real, it gives us that relaxation that we need to. And I don't think God put it there for no reason, but it does give us some benefit. So I think that it's necessary, and please add me on Mobile Legends, thank you. If you do devise your time rightly, you will be able to enjoy it to the max.
Right. Thanks for that response, Andrew. I think Chelsea is going to take the last question.
All right. Moving on to our final question of our Q&A today. Just want to ask you guys to wrap it all up. What keeps you going in serving? Because you guys have served, for quite some time now. So what is the fuel that drives you guys basically?
well, for me actually, when I see people worshiping God and coming together and enjoying and listening to His word, I actually feel really great to be a part of the reason behind it, whether it's in keys, technicals, hospitality, in all these areas which I'm serving in. I actually really feel good helping out people, and I'm pretty sure also all of us should work towards being more like Jesus, despite him being a God, and someone who is really big, yet he served other people in humility, right?
Yeah.
And also, it is always important to, and in his word, he also says that it's always important to invest your time in things that matter instead of wasting times on other things that are less important, right? And invest in the work of his kingdom. And so that's what keeps me going on serving.
Yeah, I think what keeps us going is a lot of factors, right? Definitely God in the center of it all. But on a very personal level, I guess what kept me going is the growth I see in myself. God revealed to me time and time again my flaws, right? Like none of your youth leaders are perfect, guys. We have to surrender ourselves again and again to God and tell him that we need him. And through serving, I felt like over the years, I was able to sharpen my talents, sharpen the skill sets that God has given me, right? Sometimes we learn the hard way by making mistakes. And oftentimes we learn through the people that we serve with, right? We learn from each other, we feedback from each other. That keeps me going. And the other one is the growth I see in those under my leadership. Like look at Ian, looking at Ian and all these young ones that are serving now, just hearing him speak, watching him mature in his faith keeps me going, and see that he's growing in his commitment towards the Lord and ministry. And in the end, it's worth it, right? The investment into God's kingdom and the investment into the people that I lead is just so fulfilling when we see them grow and go even further than us. And there's just nothing like this feeling is like undescribable, So I think that really keeps me going in my service to the Lord.
Wow. I want to thank you all for like sharing so honestly your thoughts. I think that's the same for me. Like money can't buy this feeling, right? Of like the impact you've made to people and to see people grow as a result of what you've done, right? I'm just gonna so thanks Ian, Andrew, Vic for sharing,
Thank
and
you.
Chelsea for co-hosting. I'm just gonna wrap all these things up in a couple of thoughts, all right? And then we're going to go into breakout rooms and before we go into breakout rooms, we're going to be hearing some other things. We've got a loaded program, guys. So like, I hope y'all are ready to receive from every portion. So I'm just going to take like 5 to 10 minutes and wrap this thing up. And it's crazy, right? Ian actually wanted to quote this scripture, right? Ian, correct me if I'm wrong. He wanted to quote Galatians 5:13 just now when he said, he wanted to invest his time in the proper stuff. Now Galatians 5:13 says, for you were called to freedom, brothers and sisters, okay? Only do not use your freedom as an opportunity for the flesh, but through love serve one another. Verse 14, for the whole law, that whole Old Testament law is fulfilled in one word. Okay, it's more than one word, it's one phrase, okay? You shall love your neighbor as yourself. So now I just want to start with this. Serving, some of you are going to see your pictures here, okay? Just don't mind seeing yourself. Serving is not about being busy. I just felt like that, like the Lord wanting me to tell you guys this, because a lot of y'all have the misconception that once I start serving, I work with Andrew and all, I'm going to be done busy, no time to free time and all already. Serving is not about being busy. Based on Galatians 5:13-14, serving is about expressing God's love. Because Paul says, through love, serve one another. So I guess the question that we should ask is, what is love? Now, this is not a relationship message, but I think we need to all have the proper definition of love if we are to move forward in this perspective. Now, this is the most complete definition I could come up with for the word love. Love is the commitment to put the interest of the one being loved above my own. There are a few keywords there. Commitment means it's not a feeling. Sometimes the person that you are loving might not deserve to be loved because he or she might have wronged you, but it's a commitment, right? To put means the interest of the one you are loving, whether your parents or the young people in church or your leaders or your pastors or your whoever, right? The interest of them is greater than your own. And I think Ian kind of alluded to that also. He said, serve others in humility, right? Philippians 2:3. That's love, guys. That's love. So why less of me? Because only people who love God above all else, and I'm going to refer to Mark 12:30-31, right? You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, all your mind, all your strength. The second is this: love your neighbor as yourself, because there's no other commandment greater than these. So Jesus and Paul earlier in Galatians and now Jesus in Mark are saying the same thing. The whole law summarized in this commandment. So what I was going to say in this is this: only people who love God above all else will ever love their neighbor as themselves. And I put this quote here. Only if God is in the rightful place in my heart will people or serving people have the appropriate place in my life. You see, guys, when life is about you, when life is more about me, right? You cannot love others the way God desires because you will care more about your interests than the interests of others. That's why we've called this series Less of Me, because until we realize that we need to decrease, then serving becomes meaningful. With me so far? Right. So, this is the question. So why serve? Just 2 points. I'm not going to give you like 5 ready points, okay? Just 2 points. Firstly, we serve to fulfill the purpose of the church. Those of you who are writing notes, you might want to write down. This is basically the purpose of the church, okay? 3 things. The church is to develop people to be more like Jesus, number 1. Number 2 is to connect people to the community of faith, the church, right? Number 3, we have to encourage one another to reach out, to make Jesus known. And that's what we're going to talk about in 2 weeks, how to do that creatively. So that's these are the 3 main purposes of the church. Now, you know the word ministry? Like, hey, Andrew comes to you and, hey, can you join the hospitality ministry? Let's break down that word ministry for a while. You know the word ministry can't take place with one person. Think about it. The word ministry, just English, right? Ministry requires at least 2 people. The one ministering and the one being ministered to. If not, you can't call it ministry. Right? Okay. So, church ministry, in essence, right, is God's expression of love through us to others. That's what it is. So, hospitality ministry is serving others with hospitality. So, like when people come into meetings, they feel comfortable. That's serving them that way. Music ministry is serving others, expressing God's love to others through playing the piano, through singing. Youth ministry is serving young people, expressing God's love to young people. And that's why we do CYF. That's why we do life groups. That's why we do the various youth activities we have. That's what ministry is. So we serve to fulfill the purpose of the church. Number 2, we are accountable to God for the resources given to us. You all remember 2 weeks ago, I talked about exam questions. Anyone wants to quote to me the exam questions? If you all can't remember the exam questions, I don't know why you're sitting for the exam. But anyway, remember I said the exam questions was goodness and faithfulness. And Jesus had 2 responses to the servants. Well done, good and faithful servant. And you wicked and slothful servant. Remember? You remember that, right? I hope you all remember that. Okay, so we are accountable to God for the resources given to us. Your gifts, your talents, your time, your efforts. 1 Corinthians 12:12. Please go read the whole chapter if you have time later today or something. I don't have the time to quote everything, but 1 Corinthians 12:12 says, for just as the body is one and has many members, if you don't believe, just look at your body now. And all the members of the body, though many, are one body, so it is with Christ. Because it's hard sometimes to understand Jesus and understand the church, Paul is associating the church to our body, so it can easily understand. Then verse 14 says, for the body does not consist of one member, but of many. And that's why there are 54 people in this call. None of us are equally the same. Yeah, I might be really similar to Andrew in the way we play piano and all, but we got differences. I'm weak at stuff that Andrew is strong in. Andrew is weak in stuff that I'm strong in. And that's why, yeah, I love banana. So I can eat his bananas. Anyway, but yeah, okay. Yeah, so that's why we complement each other as the body. Now, I just want to close with this. I'm already done, okay? Do you all see the finger? I want all of y'all, I wish all of your cameras are on because this will be such a nice like publicity picture. But I want all of y'all, if y'all can turn on your cameras to just do this. For the next couple of minutes, yeah, just point it. Yeah, whoever wants to take screenshot can take screenshot. I think this is quite fun. I want y'all to just picture this or just keep your finger there. Keep your finger there. I want y'all to imagine that y'all wake up one morning, right? And your index finger does not work. I just want you to imagine right now. Imagine your finger is stuck in this position. Guys, think about it. You can't write. It's harder to pick up stuff. Those who can drive, try to drive with 4 fingers. It's uncomfortable. And y'all can just list a whole number of things that you can't do. Guys, look at the size of this finger. Look, compared to the size of your body. One finger can affect so much. I want you to remember this, guys. I'm going to drive a point home. If you don't serve, you are like the non-functioning index finger. I'm not saying that the church will die without you not serving, but you can bring the church, the body of Christ, to a higher level if you function in your role. Don't be like the non-functioning body part. So if you forget everything I said, remember, don't be like the non-functioning index finger. So we're going to just spend a couple of minutes introducing a couple of areas where you can, not be the not working index finger. And yeah, just to introduce you all and so that you all have an idea. Andrew, I'll pass it to you.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks for that wonderful summary to what we have been learning today. So without further ado, we have 5 ministries we want to bring to you today that we have in our youth to serve, okay? And some very important individuals, VVVVVIP, who are your ministry leaders, are going to come and share. Take 2 or 3 minutes to share what those ministries are all about. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce the first one. For worship, we have Mr. Mark Loon, who's our worship ministry coordinator for our young people. Mark, all yours, man. Take it away.
All right, hold on, guys. Let me share screen. 1 second. All right, y'all can see my screen? All right, fantastic. So, hi. We only have about 2 to 3 minutes. I'm just going to walk you guys through basically what the worship ministry is all about. So, the worship ministry is basically comprised of your musicians, worship leaders, praise singers, and the audio and visual team, right? So what have we been really up to the past year or even last year when we were actually meeting physically? I'm just going to walk you through a bit of that. Starting with recordings, because in the season of pandemic, we haven't been able to meet physically. So we utilize CY online, right? What we're doing right now. And we met together, in church to do various recordings. Some of you may have caught it in some of our services. So we just did recordings for the worship sessions, little special numbers here and there. Other than that, you guys will probably notice before this whole pandemic came in, we had the physical services. So we met in DH and once, I believe, in CCC. So we had physical youth services. And the worship team also, we had the opportunity to do a music video last year in September, actually almost a year ago. This was actually taken in the car park of CCC in B1. Yeah. So this was a little project that we got to do for a song that was actually written by one of our music creative arts members as well, Common Pen, if you all know her. Yeah. This is something the worship team has done. And furthermore, what we do basically in this whole season of pandemics, we've met together on Zoom a number of times to just catch up as a team. We also have worship segments during our prayer meetings. Most times it's either live worship or sometimes people will just play a YouTube track and just facilitate a session of worship. And we are also embarking on a songwriting project right now that we are doing as a team. We're writing a song of hope for Malaysia. There's a lot of bad news and all going on right now in the season of pandemic. So everything looks bleak. There's just a lot of bad news in this nation of Malaysia, right? So it's our aim to spark some positivity, to write a song of hope for our nation. So, just to encourage the Calvary, of course, and also the body of Christ nationwide, right? And so basically, first for me, what is like the most rewarding thing about being in this ministry and having the privilege to lead this team and lead this ministry in CYY is, I believe there's a lot that I can say. It's hard to pick one, but if I could choose one, I would say it's basically just being able to see our young people encounter and to be blessed by the time of worship. I've been doing this for quite a while as well. And, I've seen various young people just encounter God afresh and anew through the time of worship, receive revelations, just be blessed, and really just sometimes even rededicate their lives, And I think that is basically it makes everything so worth it. Sometimes we have to go hours through rehearsals, all that kind of thing, practice at home and stuff. But when we see our young people encounter God, that is really what it's all about, right? And I believe that I feel that at the end of the day, for us, for you guys, if y'all are looking to find an area of ministry, how do you know that this department of worship fits you? Basically, I would say if you have a passion for music, and you have a talent in the sense of maybe you can sing, you can play an instrument, and you would like to, use that talent for the glory of God, for the one who has blessed you with that talent first, I would say that's a very good first step. And I would love to get in touch with you, to speak to you if you fall under that category. And then I would say that's how we can get the ball rolling. And we would, at the end of the day, love to have you on board in the team, right? So that's about it. Sorry, I took a bit more than 2-3 minutes.
No worries. Thanks, Mark. We are all, I think a huge chunk of us here are part of this ministry. You saw some of our faces on those photos. We had a great time together. And if this ministry is for you, feel free to approach Mark anytime. You can DM him now or whatsoever, or even DM your leaders and we can get in touch with Mark and sign up your interest for you. Okay. Next on, we have Vic come and share with us from the people side of things, hospitality and follow-up. All yours, Vic.
Awesome. Hi, guys. So you can see my screen. I'm from the People Management Ministry, which it comprises of hospitality and follow-up, but I am the head of hospitality. And so what is hospitality? What comprises it, right? So, of course, when you come to church, you see the blue vest ushers, right? So the same way we come to youth fellowship, you will have ushers welcoming you at the door, right? All the way to taking attendance, of course, making sure we know who's here. We also facilitate offering time and also food and games. Everyone loves food and games, right? And so just some of the pictures and maybe a little recap of what we usually do during physical fellowship. This was pre-COVID time. We had such a great time. You will see here. We used to have games, Monopoly. We set up in the background. This group of people here playing a different game that week. And then we had some Chinese New Year Hillsong, and we served very light refreshments and drinks after the session, and also just to facilitate a time where people can just bond, not just straight away come and then leave and then you don't make any friends, you don't chat with people. So we try to facilitate that kind of warmth and fellowship, right? For people who are new and people who are regular to just connect. And so, and of course, online, when we move to the pandemic, you will see, I think, Ethan and Lydia, who have this background, this blue background that says you belong here, because we truly believe in our hospitality team that you really belong here and you can find belonging and a sense of community here in Calvary Youth. And so we're here to welcome you, we're here to pray for you, and even answer any questions you might have. That's why the chat, we always say direct message, any of the people with the blue background or any of your leaders, right? Because we want to do these 3 things for you. Even if you're new, whether you're here for a very long time, or you just haven't felt like you've been connected and you want to know more about life group and everything, we're here to answer those questions and to point you to the right direction. And so now we're just taking on the platform of online fellowships, right? And we believe that hospitality doesn't stop just because we came online. So how do you know whether this area of ministry fits you? People. You have the heart for people. We are all people, right? But if you know you're a people, right? You know that I don't want to see people sit alone. I have this heart and passion to make sure that everyone feels welcome. I want to be able to facilitate a very nice session of fellowship, to organize the food and some of the board games. You have ideas for those things, right? Gifts for hosting people. We welcome you, of course, to explore the area of ministry. And if you feel like, actually, I don't know if I have that gift, but I can usher. I can take that welcome to Calvary Youth signboard and I stand there, I come early and I can just do that simple act of to start somewhere, right? We all start somewhere, I believe so. And so if you believe that ushering and welcome people, you can do that. You want to try serving in the area of ministry. Yeah, don't shy yourself. Please come talk to me or any of the hospitality servers. And what's the most rewarding thing serving in this ministry? Well, remembering that people make up the church, right? So what we do here is very important. Okay, what we do is creating a place of warmth and belonging. Make sure nobody feels left out. Make sure people are connected. And I believe that that's the most rewarding thing about the people ministry. So hopefully it inspires some of you. Yeah, maybe keep you thinking a little bit, and maybe even consider any of these areas of serving. So that's all from me from the people ministry.
Thanks, Vic.
Yeah.
So good. I miss these times. Don't we all? We hope we get to go back there soon. All right. Okay, Now guys, the person behind our social media page, if you have seen our Instagram, followed our Facebook, YouTube, designs and things like that, if you guys can spot Cheryl come over there, you finally can put a face to the person, actually not person, she's flying solo to the person behind the social media page. Every week you see the encouragements, all those stuff that she's been posting. So Cheryl, I'll give the floor is yours. This time it's yours.
Okay, hi everyone. I feel very shy. Okay, I'll just share my screen for a while. Okay, so it's just like a very brief explanation of what I do in the creative ministry for Calvary Youth. Wait, sorry, where is it? Yeah, so I'm the person behind doing the content creating for Calvary Youth. So this has something been possibly like I would say 3 to 4 years already that I've been running this, and I'm surprised myself. So yeah, it really requires a lot of like weekly planning. So this is just an idea of how how the feed looks like. This was like months before, and what we normally create for content planning is like the CY announcements. So that's how you guys are, getting all the updates on your CYF or your CY teens as well. So all the updates are literally on our social media. And also we also do our highlights as well, so that we're able to, whoever that has missed out on the previous sessions, we tell them that, it's up on YouTube and things like that. And also like Bible verses, encouragements, and like we try to throw in like, worship songs of the month, so that it keeps you guys going when you guys are online lah. Yeah, basically. So yeah, and then I'm hoping to also get more testimonies, so we're able to share everyone's testimonies on social media as well, so that all of us can be all encouraged when we read it. Yeah, so this is like kind of like the 5 things that I usually do in terms of just like planning the content. Yeah. So why I think it was the time when I came back from the UK and I was not in the ministry yet. So and I knew it was like a calling from God to kind of put my skills to use, and also at the same time like serve the Lord. And yeah, so it was the creative skills that I needed to, God has blessed me with, and I needed to just use it for God, for his kingdom, and also for the people lah. And also I have like a very huge passion for like design and art. So I thought like, why not do something creative on our social media? Yeah. So yeah, this is like a little behind the scenes of how I usually plan. So it's like, this is an app called Illustrator, and how I plan it is literally like 3 by 3, like you're actually able to like visualize the entire feed. So like I kind of plan from bottom all the way up, and yeah, it's so everything's kind of cohesive and things like that. So yeah, so I think whoever wants to learn a new skill in like different apps, come and join. So I use Illustrator and Photoshop. So yeah, trust me, it's very, very useful in the future. Like right now in our digital age, it's very useful. So when it comes to designing, yeah. So I think just it's amazing to just serve in this creative ministry, even though I'm on my own. I think the fruits of it is, one of them is definitely attracting the youths to our fellowship sessions and events. And it's one way of us getting our announcement now, rather than maybe leaders trying to send out message by message. And, you know, I think this is one way of Calvary Youth being able to have that identity on our so that people, you know, are aware of us. Yeah, I think that's an amazing thing. And also to share like word of God and encourage whoever that, you know, views our page, and just keep people motivated throughout the week, because, you know, some weeks can be really dry. So yeah, we need that kind of that word of God. And also I think like it helps me sparks creativity in like graphic design and content creating, because there are days where I will not have any inspiration, and sometimes like I think being able to explore in like CY stuff, it helps me able to like think bigger or think outside of the box, yeah, rather than just doing the same old routine every day. So yeah, it really helps me be more creative every day also. Yeah, I think that's basically it. So yeah, if you guys are interested to join, do, you know, let me know, or let one of your leaders know. Yeah, I'd be happy to like teach you all the softwares and like help you guys with it. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Cheryl. That was amazing. And thank you for all your work so far for CY. It's been awesome. Yeah, I wouldn't have been able to do it on my own. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, thanks for that. Last but not least, I'm just going to get Yakang to come. And with every event and everything we do, there's always a technical team running behind. So Yakang, all yours to share your screen and share. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Andrew. All right. Hello, everyone. So as you can see, I am running technical and sound. So of course, this is like the most crucial thing that it has to be like in the ministry, because it's everything that's gonna highlight everything right of the program, right? So of course, what we do, what we've been doing, I would say offline. You see, I'm the person who, you know, do the slides, you know, do when there's a host, you know, when they're talking about the program, I would be there to, you know, do the slides and do the presentation for it. And of course, all the background music you've been hearing, I'm involved with that as well. And of course, we have been doing this online ever since lockdown. So I sometimes get my good friend, my brother in Christ, Ian Punos, to help me as well. But usually it will be Ian and I would be the one who's doing this. And of course, when we go back to physical church, right, we're gonna run, you know, worship. This is like the thing that I would say we are the main people to make the worship sound good, if I were to say like that, because basically without us, there will be no worship. So, so yes, I mean, jokes aside, this is like where we will plan for presentation. We'll, you know, on monitors, you know, we have to run with the sound check for, you know, worship leader mics or speaker mics or whatever it is. And of course, it's just involved with all the back behind the scenes and all the sound stuff, I would say. And how do you know whether this is a ministry for you? I would say this would be a very good start for you if you don't know where you want to serve. Generally, we don't really run a lot of things very heavily. It's going to be very, very straightforward, right? Things like sermon slides or worship slides, right? These are the things that we have to do, and we'll need someone to run it through, right? And of course, you have to take mics for, you know, the speakers, worship leaders. Sometimes you set up for certain instruments that is required, and that has to go through the speakers of the setting, right? And of course, I've also touched on with some basic lifestyle and setup and recording, like all the stuff that we'll do, like recording sermons, or sometimes we'll do worship recording, these kind of things, and I would just basically run it through with you. You know, these are the stuff that it's in the making, and I'm excited to serve with you if you're interested in this. And of course, the things that I've been most rewarding when I serve in this ministry, I would say for my case, I'm quite passionate in this ministry. I actually have I went for a diploma for this, and I'm planning to do a degree on this as well. So I'm happy to say that I am glad that I am serving God using my passion and my interest in it. So if you are interested in this ministry, we'll really hope to have you on board, because we really need people. We are lacking in people to actually run this ministry, and I hope that I can see you there as well. So yes.
All right, thanks, Ekang. Okay, so that's it, guys. Those are all the ministries we have tentatively. If you found this session today helpful and beneficial to you all, and if you would like to start serving, the breakout rooms are going to be the place where you can start, mentioning to your leaders and just volunteering. Otherwise, we will see you again. Yekang, can we have the slide on the next CYF on the 2nd of October, which is part 2 of Being Less of Me. Aside from just the serving, we are going to talk about creative evangelism. So do come back for that. It's part 2 of Less of Me on the 2nd of October, 2 Saturdays from now. Okay, there you go. And this again, credits to Cheryl Com, the person behind our design. She did a swell job on this. So thanks guys for showing up today, and we will see you again. But meanwhile, go to your breakouts and we will dismiss from your breakout rooms. Okay, Lydia, can you open the rooms for us? Thank you very much.